Okay, so do you all remember, when was this? Man, back in January of this year. So it's been 6 months. We did a little thing that kind of kicked off the non-react segments, reacting to this guy. See if you remember this. You remember him? The Satanic Panic Pokemon guy. I'm trying to find his name. Do you all remember what his name is? Was it Phil? That's what I was doing right before. I'm trying to find his name. Was it Phil something? Phil? Pokemon caused the Satanic Panic. The Prophecy Club. I think... I can't remember his name now. Anyway, his name hardly matters, honestly. And this is actually the link I want to go to. So let me give you just a little bit of a refresher first, okay? This is some of the stuff that he was talking about. Mike Warnke? Is it Mike? I don't think that's him. He was a American Christian evangelist and comedian who was exposed in 1992 for inventing stories of his past. Cool. No, it's this guy. Hang on. Here.
Male fertility. It's supposed to be able to mesmerize and hypnotise its enemies. This character over here is called Mewtwo. Every time that you see Mewtwo, he's in this pose. 3 fingers.
Let me see him.
I know, he's cute.
This guy, remember?
Little satanic tail. Let the camera get a view of that. These pocket monsters are creatures that inhabit the world with humans. Got to catch them all. You don't need mom. You don't need dad. You don't need grandparents. You don't need aunts and uncles. You don't need school. And you probably don't even need a church.
This guy. All right. So go back and watch that video if you haven't already. I'm sure I'll link it in this YouTube video. But if you haven't watched that already, this guy goes on a crazy rant about Pokemon, right? And we went through this whole video. We had a good time. I was looking for things to talk about, though. And I came across this page, actually, this Reddit page. And I thought that this was fascinating, some of the comments that people were making on this. And it, I guess, like maybe slight content warning. If you were raised this way, you might get triggered a little bit by this, because it did for me. It definitely made me feel some stuff, because a lot of this stuff was very lightly taught to me as a kid as well. He does look like Danny McBride. We did discover that last time. My dogs are barking. I apologize. Okay, I think they're done. This is Reddit, by the way. So, language. Here's the stuff I want to talk about, okay? So this person says, "Welcome to growing up Southern Baptist in the 70s and 80s," or in my case, like Independent Baptist. "There are so many dangers to avoid, from Freemasons to Dungeons and Dragons to rock music, the drum rhythms called demons. And there are countless traveling evangelists trying to scare parents and kids straight." I mentioned this in my last video, that this was early and pre-internet days, right? When you're caught up in a group of people who, your friends, I'm sure, like friends, maybe even you consider some of them family. When they tell you something, you trust them because you know them. You hang around them all the time. And when they tell you something, how could you check that? How could you make sure that that's true or not? Because you didn't have things like the internet. Stephen Dollins, there you go. You didn't have things like the internet to fall back on. Yes, that's the name right there. This guy. Dollins. He has books on Amazon. Under the Spell of Harry Potter. It'd be fun to buy his books and read them. Huh? $38. Oh, they're all used. Let's see. What's he got? Does he only have the one book? Wow. Okay. Brief derail. 5-star review. First off, I'd just like to take the opportunity to thank Mr. Dollins for his life's work and shedding light on the many works of the devil. Harry Potter is filled to the brim with satanic references and other devilry, yet is advertised as family-friendly entertainment. I cannot believe Christians bring this demonic filth into their households. Witchcraft is nothing to toy with, and Mr. Dollins knows that firsthand. Don't even get me started on demonic entities of Pokemon, Yu-Gi-Oh, and Magic the Gathering. God bless you, Mr. Dollins. You're my hero. I thought that was going to be a meme. It wasn't a meme. Ha ha ha. I guess we should not be allowed to read or watch Lord of the Rings or Star Wars next. Sheesh. I'm a Christian. I read this book. It was stupid. This book is basically the same as the video Harry Potter Witchcraft Repackaged. Oh, does he have a video? Oh no. Are we going off the rails with this now? Uh-oh. 2001. A full... Oh, it's a documentary? It's an hour long. We're not watching this. It's not by the same guy, though. Okay. All right. Hey, it's also very funny, though, that they are like, did you know that Harry Potter has witchcraft in it? Yes. It's about wizards and witches. That's what it's about. Like, you're not surprising anyone that Harry Potter has witchcraft and wizardry in it. The school literally says that. Yeah, sorry. I thought we were about to derail. If that was a Stephen Dollins video, we would have watched that, but it's a different one. 0 stars should be an option. Stephen Dollins owes J.K. Rowling money. Seriously, the bulk of this book is his rephrasing of her exact story, peppered with the most ridiculous photos I've ever seen. Page 38 shows 3 children obviously posed, having nothing to do whatsoever with Harry Potter novels, except someone has scribbled a curse on the wall, okay? Wow. Stephen Dollins also believes that Teletubbies were sent to us by Satan. While they annoy me, I doubt that Satan is involved. And sadly, he also used The Onion as one of his resources. No, he didn't. The Onion is a satirical newspaper with headlines like Ozzy Osbourne wins tickets to Ozfest. It's not real. Which one did he use? I have to see. Do we need to read this book? No. No, we don't need to read this book. We don't need to read this book, right? I just have to know what he quoted from The Onion, though. I have to know. Read The Onion. It's free, and donate your money to charity. I like this part. My advice, don't get this guy any more money. Don't encourage his narrow-minded views. Read Harry Potter for yourself. Read The Onion. It's free, and donate your money to charity. Dishonest author claims special knowledge because he was a high priest, but he cannot pronounce a common Wiccan or occult holidays. While claiming expertise in Babylonian religion, he merely repeats word for word the book The Two Babylons, which was 100% debunked decades ago. He's an ex-Satanist high priest. So he says, well qualified, so he says, making a midlife faith change from Satanist to Christianity, so he says. I have no proof that he was actually any ex-Satanist high priest, and I don't know how you would ever prove that, you know. Tolerates anything except fundamental Christianity. Nah, not true, man. The entire society is led by Christian fundamentalism. Anyway, this is not where I meant to go, but this is too funny. Book's a complete sham. This one is 5 stars, just says truth from a Kindle customer. Truth. Who, like, how much you want to bet, like, bought the book but probably didn't, like, read the whole thing, just agrees with what, wait, why is this, wait, hang on. Just agrees with the headline. Why is this in my browsing history? Why is this inspired by my browsing history? I'm not even signed into my Amazon account. What is, oh, we were looking at that gaming chair. Okay. No, yeah, we were looking at that pink gaming chair like a couple weeks ago. All of this is fine. Did someone send you a pink gamer chair one time? Yeah, we talked about gaming chairs. I think Lars actually didn't Lars send me like here's a chair. Okay, this is everything now. I was like, wait, how in the world does this happen? All right, we're getting derailed. Let's get back to the fun. What I really wanted to show you, okay, was mostly this thread right here, because I related to this stuff a lot. Here we go. Here's a great one from Bell Farm Girl 17 and the 90s. Let me make this a little bit bigger for y'all. There we go. This is heartbreaking, okay? Heartbreaking stuff. My mom made me throw away Mulan as an 8-year-old because it depicted ancestor worship, and that wasn't okay. I also was not allowed to read or watch Harry Potter because magic is evil and of the devil. But Lord of the Rings is fine because it's Christian allegory. And as above, Pokemon was also evil. Imagine if you loved the movie Mulan, and it's not even that you were not allowed to watch it. I could see you growing up and being like, yeah, I'd never watched that. But no, they made you throw it away as an 8-year-old. And this is the crux of the video right now. This is what I want to get into, and there's a lot of stories in this thread. So thank you to Damn That's Interesting Reddit, because there's some trauma here. Just buckle up. I was raised in a very strict religious household. The following is an actual conversation between me and my mother in the late 90s. So the mom asks, where do their powers come from? They train super hard. Well, if their powers didn't come from God, then they came from Satan, and it's an evil show. Rinse and repeat for several shows like Captain Planet and Ninja Turtles. So literally, if there wasn't a character like Bible Man, you guys know who Bible Man is, right? Wait, do you know who Bible Man is? I'm waiting for chat. Oh, you guys don't know Bible Man. Good news, everyone. There is Bible Man. Full armor sequence. All right, here we go.
Now this is what I call dressing for success.
There you go, guys. He is Batman with a lightsaber, exactly.
Waist belt of truth. Breastplate of righteousness. Shoes of peace.
Bible Man Cinematic Universe.
Shield of faith. Helmet of salvation.
Full armor.
I mean, it does look good, doesn't it? Full armor sequence.
And the sword of the spirit. Cypher, do I look okay to you?
Okay, we're gonna watch the Bible Man intro, and then let's move back on, because there's one more thing in that thread I want to show you.
Miles Peterson, a man who had it all. Wealth, status, success. Still, something was lacking. Miserable, alone, his spirit beaten, Miles Peterson gave up.
Oh no, Miles, don't give up. Poor guy. I kind of feel bad for him.
Then in his darkest hour, the words of a single book began to change his life.
Bible.
And at last, Miles Peterson felt the burning desire to know God.
He just found a Bible.
Inspired by the Word of God and equipped with unyielding faith, Miles pledged to fight evil in the name of God. As Bible Man.
And honestly, it's not the worst. It is very cringy, but it's not. I don't think it's very dangerous. Like, I don't think there's anything like horrible going on there. If that's what you want, then you go for it. There's some joy to be had in something being a little bit cheesy. If you want more Bible Man, just let me know, and maybe we can do some more Bible Man content. I'm not sure how I can get around. I don't know if it's... Is it in Creative Commons yet? Is it in public domain? I don't know yet. We'll have to find out. And there's actually some really funny, like legitimately funny moments, not like funny bad moments, legitimately funny moments I've seen from other people covering that. That it's honest, it's not worthless. It's not completely worthless. There's some joy to be had in that for sure. And I kind of wish that instead of just crapping on other media and saying, this thing is wrong, I don't like this thing, we shouldn't let our kids watch this thing, well, then make your own thing. And if it's good, we'll watch it. And if it's like bad, like a lot of Christian media is, then we won't watch it. So just make your own things, you know? Like, don't try to take everything else away from everyone else. Don't try to ban Pokemon just because you don't like it. Oh, here we go. Okay, content warning. When Pokemon started, like the first episode came out, my parents bought me some Pokemon sneakers. They were really nice Pikachu shoes. A few moments later, I think it's this guy in this video that they saw, they proceeded to inform me that I would have to take my shoes off. I took them off. They took me outside, took the shoes outside, and proceeded to burn them in front of me while I watched in horror. Just like my hopes and dreams. What? They burned his shoes. Or they, I don't know. They burned the shoes in front of them. This is trauma. Like, that is trauma. Can you imagine? Okay, this is the one right here, guys. All right, this is the one that as soon as I read that, this is the one that made me pause and go, I need to read this on stream and make a video out of this because this is traumatic. All right, from Wheel Dog. I think I have this thread beat. I don't know if my parents saw this guy in particular, but they saw some stuff like it and got hooked on the whole Turmoil in the Toy Box books, which is also a whole series of videos as well. After that, I was just subjected to a bunch of trauma. From then on, anything that said the word magic was verboten? Forbidden? Is that a word? I don't know. Oh no. Verboten? Oh no. Do I not know a word? Oh no. I should have just recorded this. Forbidden. It just means forbidden. Verboten? How come I've never heard that word?
Verboten.
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 All right, exposed. All right. Couldn't you just say forbidden? Big fancy vocabulary here. All right. Trustworthy. This person's being trustworthy. Is a German word. Okay. Anything that seemed magical was off limits. It was, if it even just smelled like magic, it was gone. So this was about the mid-90s, and the sentiment lasted most of my childhood. At that point in time, our video game collection was pretty small. I just had an NES and a Game Boy. So Mom threw out our Mario games. Can't remember some of the others, but every game that mentioned magic of any kind was out. At that time, I was really attached to Mario. Think about that, by the way. Like, if you're in the mid-90s, consuming any kind of media at all, what sorts of things didn't have some element of magicalness to it, right? The Never-Ending Story. I mean, that was earlier than the 90s, but, you know, The Never-Ending Story, magical. Give me your favorite 90s content, and I bet you it had some element of magic to it. Because we make stories consisting of things that don't exist in our world. That's why they're fun, because they're things that don't exist in our world, and you can have fun with them in things like media and film because you can portray them where you can't in the real world. That's why it's fun. But so many things rely on this just general sense of like, oh well, it was magic, you know. Motorcycle Mice from Mars, aliens, not magic. Although I bet you anything they would still probably have issues with aliens as well, because aliens don't exist because God only created our flat earth. If you can't tell from context, I am joking. Okay? All right, just making sure. At that time, I was really attached to Mario and the Ninja Turtles. I wasn't allowed to watch Ninja Turtles. Suddenly, my Mario games were just in the trash. I wasn't allowed to watch Turtles, and there was a set of what we called bedroom shoes. Not sure what they were actually, but you know what I mean. Like shoes that you would wear to, like house slippers, I guess is what he means. I had a set of those shoes with Donatello on them, and I loved them. I happened to be wearing them at the time of this tirade, and she tried to explain the problem with them, but all I was hearing was, for crazy church reasons, this is bad now. I remember being made to physically throw away those shoes, not just take them off so that she could toss them. I was made to actually put them in the trash myself. With everything else I lost and all the restrictions put on us at that point, I'm just now realizing that event is probably the beginning of why I stopped believing. Church stopped being the place that I learned about God, and it became the place that ruined my life and made me miserable. I wasn't that self-aware back then, plus I had made it hard to agree on this point when none of my friends... It made it hard to agree on this point when none of my friends' parents took any of that seriously. No one knew that I had to stop watching or playing with any of these shows or games. Still to this day, if a game I'm playing mentions or does anything overtly magical, I feel a bit rebellious while playing. Almost 30 years later, I still feel the ripples of this. This is the one that really made me like pause and feel that same feeling. I don't think I really get a lot of that guilt still, but I know I used to. But this just it kind of made me hurt for this person. What was their name again? Wheel Dog. In their 30s, or close to their 30s, probably. 30 years worth of that, and they still feel the ripple effects of being forced to throw them in the trash. These are traumatic experiences that people have to deal with, and for almost no reason, almost no reason. But look, okay, something that recently hit me as well, and everything tied together with this thread, is I'm not opposed, obviously, to protecting your children from things, right? I'm obviously not going to let... my mother-in-law was over last night, and we were going to show her that Daredevil series. She never got to see it when it was on Netflix. So now that it's on Disney Plus, she's going to start that. And she's like, oh, hey, I'll start that now. And we're like, whoa, well, no, it's like super violent. So like, let's wait till Zeke goes to bed, right? I'm obviously not over putting rules around like what content my kid can watch and see and do and hear. Obviously, I'm not against that, because I am against on purpose creating trauma in my kid's life. And to me, exposing my child to some blatant violence would be a great way to create some trauma in their life. Maybe light trauma, maybe the beginnings of trauma. And so, like, I'm not above rules. Rules are fine. Rules, that's great. And you as a parent, you have every right to decide what your kid can and cannot participate in. However, let's take Ninja Turtles, for example. Let's say you're a super fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, right? You're a fan of this thing. You love it. Everything's fine. Your parents are cool with it. And then one day, somebody comes strolling into town and says, well, those Ninja Turtles, they got their power from Satan. Just trust me. And so you go to your kid, and this kid loves Ninja Turtles. And you're going to just take it all away from them. And even in some points, burn it in front of them. Or at least make them throw it in the trash. That's so sad. You're creating this trauma in this kid over a perceived threat of Satanism, when really the whole time you weren't concerned about the violence. Now, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is not that violent, don't get me wrong. In fact, like, it's pretty tame. But you weren't concerned about the violence. You weren't concerned about the trauma that the violence could bring into somebody's life. You were concerned about the perceived threat of a satanic influence. But violence is okay. It's cool. For us, bad words were a big no-no. Saying dirty, naughty words is not in our house. So we got this thing called a TV Guardian. I'm not sure if you're aware of that, but it basically reads closed captioning, and anytime it sees a swear word, it would mute the television for you, display a closed caption, changing that one word into a more acceptable word. For example, SHIT. See, I still have some of this trauma. I can't even bring myself to say it. Would be changed to SHOOT, shoot. But it would mute the TV and you just read it, right? And that opened up a whole new world of movies. But none of the violence was ever edited out. The violence was fine. The dirty words were not fine. So if we're going to make rules for our kids and for ourselves, for the media that we consume, why isn't it that kind of stuff instead of a perceived threat of something that doesn't exist? Like, did you guys know that magic doesn't exist? At least I don't think it does. If anybody's got any proof, I'd love to know. Let's go after the real things that are wrong in our world, like inequality and violence and hatred and sexism and racism. Like, let's teach our kids to be on guard for that and not be on guard for some imaginary boogeyman. That's what I'm going to do. I remember when some lady from my church was saying Harry Potter was satanic, and that alone made me really sad. I can't imagine how I'd react if somebody made you throw it out. Exactly, right? It just seems very traumatic. Like, teach them when I finally got exposed to Harry Potter, obviously I wasn't allowed to. I was a little bit older when Harry Potter came out anyway, but when I finally got exposed to it through Mrs. Nonder, she's the one who like had me actually see the movies. I remember being so impressed with the messages that the movies themselves were bringing across, that it's like friendship and love and sacrifice and teamwork and just all these like really good things that can come from it. And it's like, why are we so concerned about this imaginary setting where they're teaching kids to be wizards and witches? Why is that concerning? But everything else is just like no big deal. Well, that's pretty much it. That's what I wanted to say. I hope you all found that interesting. If you want more content like that, if you want to see like Bible Man stuff, if we want to dive deep into Bible Man, I'm more than willing to do that. There's also a channel in the Discord that is called Non-Reacts. If there's any like video or article or something you want me to look at, you can feel free to put it in there. You went to a restaurant and then you came home? Okay. Well, I'm almost done here, okay? I hope that my rambling made sense and that you see what I was going for there.